Good afternoon and welcome to the FX Daily Wrap-Up with ForexAnalytix. And we've seen a relatively quiet day after all the commotion from the last couple of days. We have seen the Canadian dollar pare back some here, the dollar CAD. Obviously has to do with crude oil coming off these lows, but these are seriously mammoth lows. I mean, you've fallen $8 in just a few days, and certainly just a little bit of short covering has sparked the dollar CAD to go on and pare back some of those gains. We've also seen this here. The S&Ps are, well, not S&Ps, but I was going to say the 10-year bonds, 10-year notes, they've come back off of those lows, quite the low from yesterday, so we're pushing up a little bit higher. You would think that that may give dollar a little bit more boost, not that much, and gold's really holding steady here close to 1500 area, because once again, we had mentioned for weeks and weeks and weeks, with gold, it's more about rates, not so much about the dollar. And certainly we've seen that huge run up here in very short order. So we're still hanging around these levels, and S&P continue to work a little bit higher. We saw over the overnight where appears that China was providing a little bit of a slowdown for the yuan, and the market was quick to grab onto any kind of good news there. So we see the dollar index going, and you saw here this, we talked about it in the European crossover, this medium-legged doji. We saw something similar like that a couple of days ago in the euro. So once again, on the daily chart, bulls don't have control, bears don't have control. What's the most recent move this way? So, which is down. So chance that we could move up a little bit higher, but we mentioned that in the European crossover. What would be the catalyst to jump to get us there? We saw the euro here in the morning, and it looked like it could slide a little bit lower. We did get a story come out about the German ministry and their ideas as far as a balanced budget. Now, the market popped rather quickly, from just above the 80s right on up here, made a quick run up here around almost close to 1230, but right afterwards came across on the squawk that was not directly the German ministry, but it was a politician speaking about the German ministry. And then we saw it, going to give up those gains, and actually came in just took a quick dip below 112. So it's quiet summer trading. You react real quickly to these rumors. That's always the risk. When we're looking here at the peso, we have seen the peso finally back off a little bit. We kept our bias chart resistance at 1964 here, and looks like that's kind of kept the market in check for now. You can see right here. And then we've since worked our flow. When we had that was, these are 2-hour bars. We had the European crossover at 4 a.m. Eastern. So you can see we were right in here and kept the bias chart still there. We did say that the support's going to be that 1947. And we're kind of holding just above there. But certainly, like I said, we talked about this with the dollar peso, is that after that big break of the big level, the 1923.6, this market is definitely, on the buy mode. And any dips are going to be well supported. There's that 1923.6. We know how many times that market was bumping heads against that ceiling, and we finally were able to get a close above that. Really opened the door for us to move higher. Other than that, the markets are relatively quiet. We did see the cable take a quick dip. I mentioned in the chat room that we had some support here at 2094. I can show you where that would be. As usual, like I said, I don't go by the high and the lows of the wick. I go by the body touches. So we're looking here on a 2-hour chart. There we go. You see right here? These body touches came in right there at 2094. And you can see that's where the market bottomed out. So the touches on the body. I go with that as opposed to the wicks. Some people ask, like I said, that's where the volume is. I always say the same thing. How many people sold the high and how many people bought the low? So you go with where the volume is. We've rebounded off of that. Decent amount here. After that quick little pullback just below 121. Seeing also the Kiwi pop back up, a little bit of an oversold issue there. Same thing here with the Aussie dollar. Very, very oversold. So we're getting a little bit of a bounce back after the big fall that we saw on the RBNZ news. Just bear with me. Okay, and let's go on and switch in now to the cross rates. Like I said, it's a very quiet session now, and we won't be spending too much time here. Spent a pretty good chunk of time. That was on Monday week, and I thought that was well worth it. The time that we spent here, advised that we thought we could go much higher with the euro, and obviously there was a reason that actually eventually pushed it much higher. Obviously with the currency manipulator news and all that. But as I said, you can see it's relatively quiet session. We have seen the euro kiwi pull back. Obviously, like I said, oversold situation. Same thing you're seeing here with the euro Aussie dollar. We had our bias chart support here. We're dipping just below that bias chart support. As I said, gold still continued, and that's on 10-minute chart, but we're still continuing to go and hang around this, close to this 1500 level. No reason to change there. Obviously, moving on rates and sterling odd, well, we talked about that, how quickly that was going to give the gains, and certainly with the Aussie strengthening, we continue to go on and slide here. With the guppy, well, we always continue just to hang around those lows. There's no let up or no reprieve for the weary, and that's essentially what we've got here. As like I said, it's a relatively quiet session. You can see a little bit more action at times with cross rates. You see that happen more often in the European session, but we have seen the Aussie yen also move higher. Obviously, with the strength of the Aussie, also equities, but like I said, it doesn't respond to equities like it used to. This also quite often used to be used as a proxy. If you don't want to trade S&Ps, you could just go and trade the Aussie yen. It would react very, very well. Well, those days are long gone, at least for now. Getting back to the main screen again, as like I said, it's not really a whole lot of activity. It's a quiet summer day. And one thing about it is we do know is, we did have a quick barrage, but generally, we see a lot of Europeans go on holiday for the 3 weeks of August. So after what we had, happen this week, we may start to see the markets kind of quiet down. We'll still see the markets bounce around a bit. But that's all we have. And like I said, the Canadian dollar, as I mentioned, dollar CAD pairing back on the short covering we've seen here in crude oil, and not a huge short covering, but concerning after that, as I said, mammoth fall certainly has provided some support for that. But overall, relatively quiet. Euro still has an opportunity, if we saw that blip in the dollar, to come down here to 1160. I think it would be a good buy. But the longer we stay here and we don't move, we can move. Could cause us to slide further. But that's all we've got here on a very quiet summer session day. And thanks for joining here with the daily wrap-up with ForexAnalytix.